when you're trying to cultivate a creative workplace, or we'll just stick to a creative space, a place where your creativity is inherently nurtured, you'll want to look at internal atmosphere, so that's what's going on within you, and you'll want to look at external atmosphere, and so that's more where you're at, right? Where you're physically at. The internal atmosphere and the external atmosphere are connected. I didn't read the tidy book, you know, the book on tidying. I had to create my own systems that I think might piggyback onto that or with that. And this is something I learned from a friend years ago, Miss Megan Gervais. Hello, Miss Megan. And it's every single thing in my life has a purpose. It has a place, so it has to have a home. And it has to bring me joy. It can't just have one of those. Its sole purpose could be to just bring me joy. As long as it has a place to live, it's okay. So when I'm creating space, my physical space is pretty important. Let me see if I can get you a little view. Like this is, hard to see. But everything in this little space I'm in has a purpose, place. It's pretty simple. And I spend quite a bit of time tidying because I know as I tidy my space and that every single thing within my vision has a purpose, a place, and brings me joy, that what that's doing internally is creating that template that every single thing within and without me, or within and around me, has that purpose, place, joy. Who doesn't want to do the creative, that's my creative dance, the creativity, whose creativity is nurtured by a clear, joyful place, internally and externally. So that's first. And you can really, if you feel like you have too much shit to make everything have a purpose and a place and bring you joy right now, then you can make little piles. So your workspace needs to be beautiful. It needs to be purposeful. But like I have a pile of stuff I don't want to go through right now, and it's over on my desk in my pile of things I need to go through. And so in my creative space, I'm not working with that pile, but I will, hopefully sooner than later. So that's first, is just looking around you and making sure that everything feels fabulous. Does every single thing around you ideally have a purpose? If this is just your work desk, not like your whole house, but does everything within your workspace have a purpose, a place, and bring you joy, even if the only purpose is to bring you joy? Then internal, critical. Take an internal assessment of how you're doing. When you're thinking of what you're about to create, how's it feel? Creativity loves freedom and loves love. So if you're in a place right now where you're not feeling confident, you're feeling pissed at something, you're feeling inadequate, you're questioning your creative skills, don't start there. No. That's kind of always a no. If you're wanting to be creative, we go to your internal energetic atmosphere, which represents itself by your emotional and your mental place where you're at emotionally and mentally. And so the person who asked this question, she loves working with stones with me. And so if you're new to stones, here's your stone working with Coco 101. So you grab any stone. And so energy follows intention, right? This is a new one I just got at the river. I like that I was trying to focus. Okay, so I don't know if that came into focus, but anywho, stone. So say I'm like, I feel scared about coming out in the world, or I am pissed at my cat for chasing the squirrels just a minute ago, or I'm sad about global warming. Like whatever it is that's incongruent with my joy. I imagine, I make believe, and I act as if this stone can draw out of my physical form. So it's like a vacuum. Energy work, at first, feels like make-believe. Note to self, always. It feels like make-believe until your senses start to know what to evidence as truth of energetic transformation. So internal atmosphere, you need to clean too. So it's a good idea to grab a stone. You know where to find one? On the ground. Any stone, gravel, it's just rocks. And you can intend and breathe. This is something where if I just intend that anything that stops me from being absolute creative genius is drawn from my head into the stone, it works. If you're new, you might have to do it 5 million times. And that's okay. I've already done it 5 million times. And I know it works. So just a quick cleaning. Anytime you feel stuck, grab your stone. Put it anywhere on your body. It doesn't matter. It follows intention. So energy follows intention. It's a very balanced, benevolent world. This stone jives off of what feels shitty to me. And it's literally intention and then just being curious. Your mind is programmed through old human conditioning. We don't want to reference our mind to try to understand energetic transformation. We want to do it and then teach our mind to understand it, right? So this is just a quick, so we look around, make sure everything in this little space that I'm working with has a purpose, a place, and brings me joy, even if it's a pile of to-do laters, okay? Then you take your stone and you say, how am I? Take internal inventory. What needs to leave? What needs to transform in order for me to have a clear space to play in? And then you keep that so you can blow it. It's just intention. But breath works well. This sort of like pulling out. You keep it on call. And notice when your body or your mind or your emotional body goes into a place that's not super easy and creative. And then do it again. You just practice, practice, and practice, and practice, and practice. Okay? Bye. But the basic thing is if you treat your creativity like you would a little kid that you loved. And essentially, a little kid just needs to know that they're safe. And if there's any like goal, like is our goal to go to the park? Because the things that we're doing will lead there. So what are you creating? So what's the goal? But then the little kid needs so much love. And so how much adoration can you be cultivating towards you? And what are the blockages that stop you from just adoring you in the moment? Take note of those, like actual physical note. And then choose to not take them seriously right now. Instead, choose to take real seriously that you're amazing just because you freaking exist. For real. You're amazing because you exist. Like, how amazing. It's a miracle that we're here and we exist. You are a miracle. Creativity will revel in the space of being celebrated as the most exquisite miracle, like you would a little kid. But then the structure is, I'm going to be creative during this time and identify anything that feels shitty in me. Write it down if it's something I need to look at later at a different date. Because right now I am celebrating me because I exist, and I'm going to see how much I can celebrate my brilliance even if I don't know what it is. So that's more an internal atmosphere of nurturing a creative environment. Okay?